Batman: A Death in the Family is one of the most iconic comic books of all time, but it's also kind of insane. You see, in the comic book, after killing Jason Todd, the Joker gets diplomatic immunity from Batman by becoming the United Nations ambassador for Iran. What? Reading this in 2024, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But understanding this in context to the geopolitical relationship between the United States and the Middle East in the 1980s, and it becomes apparent that the characterization of Joker in this comic book is a reminder of the persistent Islamophobia that dominated the US media space during that time. You see, in the 1980s, the United States cut its diplomatic ties with Iran after the Iranian Revolution and a hostage crisis. Tensions between the two countries were very high as the new Iranian government had a very anti-Western and anti-US colonial mentality. All the while, the United States was very active in the Middle East, as it was seeking to combat communism and implant its Western ontology into regional governments like Afghanistan. This ultimately resulted in a lot of bloodshed and violence. Essentially, Iran was an oppositional ideology to the United States, but there was no direct conflict. All of this to say that the foreign policy agenda of the United States benefited greatly from Islamophobia. You see, the Joker is the embodiment of pure evil and chaos. He acts with no other motive than to harm those around him. And you could very well make the argument that he is evil incarnate. So characterizing him as the new ambassador to Iran goes to show how Islamophobic the US media landscape truly was. Media sentiment wants you to believe that just like the Joker, Iran is a totally evil state that does nothing but benefit from the deaths of innocent people. And just like the Joker, they are driven by nothing but violence. Obviously, this is a mischaracterization of the status quo, but it benefits the US narrative. And I think there's also an argument to be made that Batman serves as a stand-in for the United States government. Both Batman and the US government are rich, righteous Western forces that use their brute force to solve problems. So you have to cheer for the hero because they're gonna stop the bad guy. It's wild, right? It's totally insane. Batman is one of my favorite heroes of all time, and this comic is one of the most important comics of all time, and also one of the most important comics in context to the character of Batman. But the story is so unapologetically Islamophobic. It's not even funny. And honestly, I don't think enough people bring this up when talking about this book. So this is just my friendly reminder to practice media literacy. It's incredibly important to use critical thinking when engaging with our favorite pieces of media, because when our favorite media errs on the side of problematic characterization and racism, sometimes we might not even notice until it's too late. As always, hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.